What's up everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Firewood for Life. And on today's show I'm going to teach you guys how to clean out the inside of your wood stove without those ashes getting everywhere in the house. I'm also going to show you how to keep this glass clean by using the ashes actually found inside the stove. It's easy and I'll show you how to do it. Stay tuned. Alright, so if you heat with a wood stove like I do, and we are in mid-January this time of year, and we're probably halfway through the heating season. It's cold, it's snowing, it's blowing outside. We just had a big storm come in. So we're running it all day, every day. And what you're gonna find if you burn a lot of wood in your wood stove, you're gonna have ash that builds up, and every roughly 3 to 5 days you're gonna wanna clean it out. This particular stove, I've noticed if I don't clean it out every, like I said, 3, 4, 5 days, the ash buildup on the bottom of it really decreases the amount of wood I can put inside the firebox. So one of the easiest times to clean out your wood stove is in the morning after the coals have died down, to where the firebox is still warm, the flue is still warm, and the glass isn't crazy hot. So you can get in there and clean out all those ashes, and then you can also clean that glass without it being so hot that it's going to sizzle whatever you put on there. And speaking of glass, wood stove glass isn't really glass like you would find with inside your home. It's a ceramic polycrystalline material. It's built to withstand really high temperatures, but it doesn't mean it's indestructible. It just means that it's built to last for its purpose. So if you hit it with a poker stick, or if you take smoking hot glass and you dump a bunch of water on it, it might shatter. But if you're just realistic about it, you're not going to have any problems. So why don't I show you guys my technique that I like to use to help stop those ashes from getting everywhere inside your living room, and then I'll show you a really easy technique to keeping that glass clean, to give you more heat with inside your home, and also just to make it look good in the process. So stay tuned, we'll show you how. Okay, like I mentioned earlier, our wood stove is burned down. The firebox is still pretty warm, but we don't have an excess amount of hot coals in here. And I really, don't laugh at my small fire bucket. I really need a bigger ash bucket than what I have, but I got this on clearance, and every year I say I'm gonna buy myself a bigger one, but I never do. So it works. So basically the secret, this is just using a typical ash shovel. And as long as you're careful and that firebox is warm, I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but you're not gonna get a lot of ashes that go out into your home. As long as you're careful and just dump them in there. See these rise up a little bit? They're actually, a vast majority is going right up the flue and not going inside your house. So there's a lot of different techniques people use. I don't like to clean up my firebox completely. There's a good example. We got a little ashes that come out, but you're never gonna get it perfect. But you can buy special tools to clean out the inside of your firebox to actually cover the top of your shovel. But I really don't find it necessary. As long as your firebox is warm and your flue is warm, like I said, most of your ashes will go right out. So there's an easy technique. Just get your bucket close, dump them in there softly, and it's going to really reduce the amount of ashes you get inside your house. Stay tuned, I'll show you guys how to clean that glass. Okay, now that we have our firebox cleaned out, the next step in our 3 to 5 day maintenance schedule is to clean the actual glass itself. So today I'm using paper towels or napkins. You can use newspaper, some people use a sponge, but I've got napkins today or paper towels, so that's what I'm going to use. But just wet that down, get yourself a bowl with a little bit of water in it. Just wet down the napkin or the newspaper, and then dunk it in that fine ash. Try to find the finest stuff, and that's what works good when you leave a little bit of ash inside your fireplace. And then just take it, and in a circular motion, just scrub it all over that glass. And the more you scrub, it'll come right off. Sometimes I flip it over, dunk it a little bit more. You don't want it too wet. Get that nice fine ash again. And even that hard to reach stuff, or that hard to get off, baked on creosote that you get in the corners, if you work just a little bit on it, will come right off. Now this is where it's important to have your glass a little bit warm, but not hot. If it's too hot, it'll dry really quick, and it's hard to get this, like at this stage, it's hard to get it off. but as long as it's just warm, I find it's easy to get the actual buildup off while keeping that happy temperature medium to actually wipe it off when you're done. So what I like to do, I'll do that. Once it's to that stage, I'll wet down another paper towel, and then we'll get all of this residue off. You're gonna get a little haze. Flip your towel back over. And folks, this has taken, what, well under a minute at the most. There we go. Maybe a little bit more water, just enough to get that haze off. And then switch to another clean one and just wipe it down. And you can see the stuff I'm getting off. You don't have to make it perfect. It's a wood stove. And there you go. In just a few simple minutes, you guys can see how clean that is. Or a few simple minutes, a few simple seconds. 30 seconds, maybe a minute tops per door. And you've taken, well, hopefully you can see the difference. That quick on how clean it is. So I'm gonna clean the other side, and then I'll give you guys a little final view of what it looks like with the fire going inside. Okay, so I was gonna cut right to the final scene, but I wanted to show you guys a tip that I use to start, whether it's a fire inside the house here or a bonfire. You can use matches, but this is a torch. It's a Benzomatic TS4000. I actually bought this about 15 years ago to sweat copper pipe, but it works awesome for lighting fires. So the best thing about it is it's like on off. And I have just normal propane attached to it. MAP gas that comes in a yellow can, burns a lot hotter, but this works great. So if you guys watched in the 90s, what's it called, Home Improvement, to where Tim the Toolman Taylor would say, you need more power. Well, this is essentially the same thing. So make it easier, use a torch. All right, there you have it. Takes maybe 5-10 minutes to clean out a wood stove if you follow these techniques. A little bit longer today because we're filming, but it's a great way to prevent those ashes from coming inside your living room. And that technique to use the ashes to clean off the glass not only makes your fireplace or your wood stove look amazing, but it also creates a lot more heat coming through. If you guys are sitting here right now, it's pretty warm. So do me a favor, if you guys like this stuff, hit that subscribe button in the lower right hand corner. I'll drop a link to the Benzomatic torch. It's a game changer when it comes to lighting fires. And I'll also throw a link in there about the webpage that we have on our site, firewoodforlife.com, on how to clean wood stove glass. Thanks for joining us. Can't wait to see you again.